for joining us. Thank you everyone for joining us this afternoon. Let me introduce Patrice McLellan from the Australian National University. It is our pleasure to have you this morning in Australia, 9 in the morning, and for us it's 5 in the afternoon. We are very happy to have you and to be able to listen to the presentation that you will give us and show us a little bit about your university. Thank you, Patrice. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, Maria, and thank you so much for everyone for coming. I know it's the end of your day, so I really appreciate you coming along to hear a little bit more about Canberra and the Australian National University. So my name is Patrice McLellan. I am the manager of the ANU Global Programs team here at ANU. So we're responsible for inbound and outbound exchange, and we would be welcoming you to Canberra should you decide to join us for exchange. So just on your screen now at the moment, this is a view of Canberra from one of our 3 mountains quite close by the campus. This is from Mount Ainslie, and it's looking down Anzac Avenue. So this is pretty much a panorama of Canberra as a city. We have Lake Burley Griffin. A lot of life happens around the lake. There's a lot of kayaking, swimming, a lot of cycling around the lake, fishing, you name it, we've got it. So it really is the center of Canberra and where everyone spends a lot of their time in the better weather. So today I just wanted to start off by acknowledging that I'm coming to you today from the traditional lands of the Ngunnawal and Ngambri people. And I'd like to acknowledge, celebrate and pay my respect to all First Nations Australians on whose traditional lands I meet and work every day, and whose cultures are amongst the oldest continuing cultures in human history. And I'd also like to pay my respects to the traditional owners of any lands of anyone joining me here today as well. So why study at ANU? So exchange, and you would have heard this from your own team at the university, but it's a fantastic experience for your own personal development. So to gain international experiences, obviously that's a bit of a no-brainer. To become more independent and confident, I think the transformation I see of students from when they come to us first to ask about exchange to when they return to us, it's absolutely huge. They become completely different people, more confident in themselves, and they learn a lot while they're on exchange. To learn about another culture, like I've just said, Australia is home to some of the oldest continuing cultures in the world, and Canberra itself is a melting pot as well. Nearly everyone who comes to ANU is from somewhere else other than Canberra. So it's a really great experience to meet up with other people from all over the world and all over Australia. Flowing on from that, to meet new people. So obviously everyone is new when you come into a college at ANU. When you turn up to your residential hall, you'll be surrounded by people who are also new. So it's a fantastic way to meet new people and make long-lasting friendships. The opportunity to travel. Obviously, if you would be coming to Australia, it's quite a long way to be away from family and friends, but it's a fantastic opportunity to explore the region while you're here. Canberra is a fantastic jumping off point for exploring not only Australia, but the Asia Pacific region. And a lot of our exchange students go on to travel through Southeast Asia, through the Pacific, and also to travel all over Australia while we're here as well. So it's a great opportunity to make the most out of that. And for career development, the opportunity to take an international experience like exchange can have really fantastic benefits to your employability. A lot of employers look for international experience and the kind of enterprise skills that you develop while you're on exchange, cross-cultural communication, problem solving. It really contributes to your development and your employability more further. So a little bit about our university. ANU is Australia's #1 university, and we're number 27 in the world. So we're very, very proud of that. There are a few areas in which we really excel. Philosophy, we are the #1 university for philosophy in the world. We rank between 10 and 20 for international relations, politics, and philosophy around politics. Law, we are very much number one in Australia and between 1 and 20 in the world. So there's a lot of strength there. And also astrophysics is a real strength as well. So if you are into astrophysics, we have an observatory on Mount Stromlo, which is very close by the campus. A lot of our researchers and students conduct work up there. Our city. So Canberra is a little bit unknown. A lot of people know Sydney and Melbourne, and they think maybe Sydney or Melbourne is the capital. It's actually Canberra. So we're the #1 most livable city in Australia. We've been ranked the 3rd best city to visit in the world, the 17th best student city in the world. We are the most sustainable city in Australia as well. We have some really great campaigns by our territory government here around recycling. We don't use single-use plastics and the like. And we are the 5th healthiest city in the world to live in as well. During the recent pandemic, we were very proud to be the most vaccinated city as well. So 98% of our residents were vaccinated with the first three injections, which we were very proud of. A little bit about the ANU experience. So when you come to us as an ANU incoming exchange student, you have access to all the services available on campus to our regular students. So the first I'll talk about is academic skills. So obviously coming to a new university and getting to know the academic requirements and the workloads can be a little bit stressful for exchange students. You do have access to our academic skills team. They provide seminars on things like building a bibliography, conducting research, writing skills in English to make sure you're reaching that academic standard that we require. And that's a really fantastic resource. They also take you through access to the library and where to find what you might need when conducting research. ANU Access Inclusion is a really important service for anyone who might have a disability, an ongoing health condition, or maybe neurodiverse. That team can actually support you through your studies at ANU, and they can arrange with your lecturers for any reasonable adjustments you might need. So if you do need to have extra time when it comes to exams and assessments, that team can help you negotiate that with each of your conveners. ANU Careers is also available. They do drop-in sessions for resume checks. They conduct mock interviews. They also run seminars throughout the year to talk about your employability and how you might enhance your employability while you're with us, even if it is for a short time. ANU clubs and societies, I believe we currently have around 170 clubs and societies on campus. A lot of those are student-led, and they range from computer science to Formula One solar cars, through to various regional student groups, to languages, to arts, to theatre, anything you really can think of. ANU Health Services, so we do have a health service office on campus, so you can have access to general practitioners, doctors, and psychologists as part of the mental health support while you're here with us as well. The ANU Interhall Games and Events. So the ANU is a little bit different to other universities in Australia, insofar as the majority of our students actually live with us on campus in halls of residence. And between these halls of residence, there is a really furious competition when it comes to games and sports. So each of the halls has their own teams. When it comes to AFL football, rugby league, soccer, tennis, anything really under the sun, but then also arts as well. So a lot of the colleges put on musicals and plays throughout the year, so you can join in there. There are also ANU-wide events and social mixes, and they run right through the year. So they may be associated with the broader university. So we have our orientation week where you'll have various events throughout that week, or it may be restricted to your faculty. So we have a Faculty of Law ball every year, and CBE, basically every faculty of the university will have some kind of celebration. Our shops and cafes are available on campus. If you did make the choice, you could pretty much choose to never leave the campus. I wouldn't encourage it, but everything you need is on campus and available to you. And student unions and associations are available to you as an exchange student as well. So you can reach out to them for services they might offer. We have student unions associated with the undergraduate and postgraduate levels of study. So there's something for everyone. So accommodation at ANU. So as I said, ANU is a little bit different to other universities in Australia where a lot of students may live just off campus. We actually have a number of halls available on campus and technically off campus, but only by about 30 meters. So as an incoming exchange student, you have a guarantee for accommodation. So you would be staying on campus with us. There are various options available across the different halls. So it's important that you do a little bit of research as to what might suit you and your needs. The picture here is of Burton and Garran Hall. I'm actually an alum of Burton and Garran Hall, and this is a non-catered option. So one of the fantastic things about Burton and Garran Hall is they have a really large set of kitchens. I think it's about 26 kitchens in a massive hall. But it becomes this beautiful meeting place where everyone from a level comes down and cooks together. They meet, they talk about their day, and they get to know each other. I've made lifelong connections just by being in these kitchens. I met my husband in the kitchen, which is a little bit crazy, but you really hold on to these friendships as you go, which is really fantastic. There are community activities associated with each of these halls as well. So as well as, the musicals, the sporting activities, everything you might, that I've just mentioned, you also have academic support available within the residential halls. There are academic tutors available to support you throughout your time with us at ANU. And there's also pastoral care available on each level. So you'll have a senior resident with you on your level where you live, and you can go to them for any support you might need. The approximate cost of living is 480 Australian dollars per week. This will alter, so there's a little bit of range in terms of what accommodation you might choose or what accommodation you might be allocated to, but that is our approximate. So I think I mentioned orientation. So when you come to us, we do have a compulsory orientation program. And that's just to make sure that you are aware of what the university has to offer, that you're able to position yourself in the university, get to know everything around you, and get to know Canberra really well as well. So there are a few activities that happen throughout O Week, as we call it. So we have an airport welcome service. So once you arrive at ANU, there are buses that will take you once you arrive in Canberra at the airport, we have a number of buses that will be shuttling you to the university and to your accommodation, so you don't have to organise that yourself. On the first day of O Week, we actually run a global programs meet and greet session where you come to meet us. And we talk you through all the ins and outs of the university and give you an overview of where you can go when you need support, but also what's on offer and how you can make the most of your time on exchange as well. There is also an ANU campus-wide orientation. So this will involve your faculties, the student unions that I mentioned earlier as well. I run orientation sessions on what you can expect for the semester. And it goes right down to the subject level. So whatever you choose to enroll in with us at ANU, they will have a specific orientation program in place as well. And during O Week, you'll also have a set of activities that are associated with your hall of residence. So each hall has pretty much an activity every night when you finish up your day, and the opportunity to do day trips and excursions throughout that week as well. And we continue that throughout the semester. So closer towards the end of the semester, we actually arranged for you to have the opportunity to go to a surf camp on the south coast. So you can learn to surf and get to know the south coast of New South Wales as well. So a little bit about Canberra. It's a little bit of a mystery. So we are the nation's capital. We're about 450,000 people in Canberra, so it's not massive. One of the great things about Canberra and ANU is because we're the nation's capital, we're really proximate to diplomats, to members of parliament, to politicians, and to their staffers. And one of the fantastic things is that a lot of our teaching staff, particularly in international relations, politics, and diplomacy, have experience working very closely in those areas. Some have been diplomats, some have been politicians, some have been staffers. So they really bring all that practical knowledge to the classroom, which is really fantastic. This is a little bit of a snapshot of what you can expect when you come to Canberra. 25% of our territory is covered in national park. So literally on your doorstep at the base of Black Mountain, where the residential halls are, you can go for hikes to see kangaroos, all kinds of wildlife around you, and some of the best views of the region. We do have a lot of kangaroos and they make their way onto campus. It can be a little bit of a pain, but they are cute, so that's okay. We have basically a festival every month. The balloon festival here is pictured on the right-hand side of your screen. So the entire sky for about a week in March is just covered in hot air balloons, and there are people that go out onto the lake to watch them from their kayaks and boats and rowing boats and the like. Coffee is very, very serious here. We have the highest number of cafes per capita. And I think if you ask any member of my office, they will have a very strong opinion of where you go to get your best coffee. But you can absolutely get a fantastic coffee in Canberra and on campus. Cycling is probably one of the best ways to get around Canberra. It's not super big and it's quite flat in the CBD. So it's really easy to get around. The other thing is that you have bike services available on campus. If you need to purchase a secondhand bike for while you're here, there's a bit of a co-op on campus that you can use. And a lot of shopping and culture available in the just close to campus as well. About a 15-minute walk from campus is the suburb of Braddon, which is full of some of the trendiest cafes, shops, and anything you might need. So I just wanted to go through a few highlights for you in terms of some courses you might want to consider. One of the unique things about ANU in the College of Arts and Social Sciences is that you can actually undertake an introductory course into an Indigenous language. So the Indigenous language for this course changes every semester. So you might be aware that there are over 250 Indigenous languages in Australia. So it will change from semester to semester, but by the end of it, you'll be able to speak a few key phrases, be able to understand the introductory levels of linguistics in Aboriginal languages in Australia, and have some simple conversations and get an understanding of the Indigenous experience. We do have a really strong College of Engineering, Computer Science and Cybernetics for anyone who might be interested, and there are a range of courses. This is just one that we've picked out as a highlight. It's an opportunity for scientists. So you may not even be a computer science or engineering student. You might be a biology, chemistry, any kind of STEM scientist, but it's just an introductory course into programming, if that would help you in your career. This is probably one of the flagship internship programs with us. It's very, very popular. So ANIP, or the Australian National Internships Program, if you have an interest in a policy area, it doesn't have to be politics or diplomacy. It just has to have a policy lean to it. What would happen is you would apply for this program separately, and we can send you details of how to apply. And then you would be allocated to a government department, a not-for-profit, an embassy, and for the semester you would be with them and complete a small project and an internship alongside that. And that's your assessment for that semester. I can absolutely send through some more information about this because I know it's really popular with students. So this is just a little, if you are a biology student, if you're a science student and you're interested in Australian wildlife, this is a really great course to get to know them a little bit better. Aside from this course itself, a lot of our science courses, particularly in the environmental sciences, have a really strong fieldwork component. So we have a lot of students heading up to Mount Kosciuszko to do field research. They might be heading down to our South Coast campus to look at marine biology and conservation. But there's a lot of opportunities if you are interested in fieldwork. Diplomacy obviously is a really important area for us, being situated in Canberra. This is actually a picture of our House of Representatives. But this course is offered by the College of Asia and the Pacific. So this is part of the university, one of our colleges. Their focus is on international relations, diplomacy, politics, but with the lens of the Asia Pacific over the top. So they have fantastic courses like this, leadership and diplomacy. If you're interested in climate change in Fiji and Vanuatu and the policy and doing a comparison of those policies with Australia, that's another course that they do as well. But it's a really fantastic college if you do have that interest in Asia and the Pacific. Coping with crisis, this is another offering from the College of Asia and Pacific, and from a centre, one of our strongest centres in the university, the Strategic and Defence Studies Centre. So if you are interested in international security, the effects of things like climate change, of political instability, and what kind of how policy is being developed to best cope with these kind of crises, that's a really fantastic course to take as well. And this is another offering from the College of Asia and the Pacific. You can see which is my favorite college, obviously. But this is Pacific politics. So if you have an interest in the Pacific, or you're not quite sure, you want to get that introductory level into politics in the Pacific, this is fantastic. They take basically a week. They look at different countries and the political state and their interactions with Australia and the world. And there's analyses every week. So in terms of what happens next, obviously you would need to apply for exchange with your university according to their rules, and you need to heed their advice. What then happens is that your home university nominates you to our team. We then contact you with application instructions and guide you through that process. So we'll be on hand if you have any questions about that process and can answer those. Once you've been offered a place, you accept your offer. We run pre-departure sessions in the lead up to you coming to Australia, just to run you through the finer things that you might need to think about, and all the preparations you might need to make. You would then make final arrangements such as student visas and health cover. Then you arrive in Canberra and you come and study with us. Like I said, you have our complete support while you're with us in Canberra until you leave. And yeah, that's my presentation. But I'm happy to take any questions anyone might have as well.
Thank you so much, Patrice. It has been a very complete presentation. I've been delighted hearing everything that you have said, and I know that probably later there will be lots of questions. So I don't know if maybe you can give us an email, or if you can send your presentation to my office so we can have information. Yes. And here there's one question. Thanks. Doctorate programs that the EU offers. Do you offer PhD programs?
Yes. So we don't have a PhD agreement in place. Unfortunately, we can take postgraduate students. Doctorate places, our office doesn't deal with them necessarily. If they did want to travel independently, they could contact supervisors here and make arrangements, and each of the colleges here do have a process for taking students or candidates through that process.
Okay, thank you. I don't know if there are other questions. Don't be shy. This is the time to
I'll
ask.
pop your email in the chat as well. It's just global.programs@anu.edu.au.
Okay, perfect. global.programs@anu.edu.au.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, and to everyone, you already know our here's one more question, and then I will give everyone my email, not my email, but the office email. So thanks for the presentation. Does the minimum workload must be 18 ANU units per semester, or can they take
Yes.
units?
Thanks for that question, Andres. So it is a minimum of 18 credit points, ANU credit points per semester. And that is closely because that is our determination for full-time study. And that is going to have implications for your student visa while in Australia. So you do need to maintain that 18 credit points.
Okay, perfect. So that's a legal thing.
Yeah, exactly. To give you an idea, the typical ANU student would undertake 24 credit points for the semester.
Okay. Also, here is the accommodation fee included in those $540 per week you mentioned.
Yes, that's right. So that's a calculation of the cost of living on campus per week. So that cost, and you'll just have to have a look at the accommodation available. If you just Google ANU accommodation, it will come up with all the options, all the prices. So it will alter a little bit depending on which accommodation you choose. But that is our estimate.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you.
And I can send through the details for accommodation as well.
Okay, perfect. And also, well, here in PUCP, students need to apply 1 year before going to ANU, because we have a process 2 terms before the selection. If I choose a catered accommodation, would it be cheaper than if I choose to buy meals in restaurants? That's a good question.
I would say it would be, yes. It can be a little bit expensive to eat out in restaurants. There are very cheap options available nearby campus, but it is probably quite a bit cheaper to choose catered accommodation. Our cheapest accommodation is actually Burton and Garran Hall, which I mentioned before, and that's a self-catered accommodation. So a lot of students, I mean, it's if you're looking to learn to cook, it's a great way to learn to cook because you have to. And there are supermarkets nearby, markets where you can buy fairly cheap produce compared to everywhere else in Canberra. So that's probably your cheapest option, is to self-cater. But if you're not up for cooking, probably your catered option is the best.
Perfect. Something else? No?
They're great questions.
Yes. Well, thank you so much, Patrice. Something more here. Does the uni offer programs related to industrial engineering?
We do. I would say it's not a massive strength. A lot of our engineering faculty is focused on mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, and biomedical engineering, as well as computer science. I can send through a complete course list as well, so you can see if anything might be of relevance. But yeah, the College of Engineering and Computer Science is a really strong faculty. It's just up to whether the offering is going to fit into your program at home as well. But I'll send through the course list.
Perfect. Thank you. Okay. Is there any other question here? No. Okay, so I think
okay.
Okay, something more. If chemistry is in the building of the Research School of Chemistry?
Yeah, they are co-located. So they'll be in the same place on campus. As a chemistry student, if you choose the practical courses, you'd have labs located nearby, and you'd be using them for your course, for your program as well. Not an obvious question at all. I know sometimes they're not co-located, The ANU it's a very much a research university. We pride ourselves on that. But we're also a teaching university, and we want our students to be exposed to research even at the undergraduate level.
Super. Thanks, Cés Andrés.
No worries at all.
Okay, so we will have the presentation. We will share anything else that we can have with our students, with the students that apply to ANU, especially. Does the uni offer programs related to design, such as graphic design?
So we do have a School of Art and Design. You can absolutely apply to do courses there. I will say that some of the studio courses are quite limited. So in terms of securing a place, we can't guarantee that you'll have a place in the studio courses, but we do work very closely with the college to give you the best possible opportunity to enroll.
Perfect then. Okay, so thank you, Micaela said. Great. So probably we will have more students interested in applying in the next semesters. And thank you so much, Patrice.
My pleasure.
Yes. So nothing, I don't know if you have anything else to add.
No, if anyone has any questions, please feel free to reach out via global.programs@anu.edu.au. But otherwise, we hope we're able to welcome some of you to Australia shortly.
Thank you so much. And if you ever come to Peru, please visit us.
It's on my list, definitely.
Okay. We'll be waiting for you. Thank you so much.
Great.
Have a great day.
All right, take care. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.